Good evening, and welcome to the cutting room. We are very excited to have Chris Robinson in the house. Please, everyone, check out our website, www.thecuttingroomnyc.com. We welcome Brad Tolinsky of BackStory to the stage. We're going to give him a round of applause.
Hello, everybody. Microphone. Hello. I'll pick up this one. Hello, is this one? Oh. Bless you all. I'm Brad Tolinsky with BackStory Events, and we're here from the cutting room and live streaming on Guitar World's YouTube channel. So those who of you are watching out there in Cyberland, welcome. Tonight we have a great evening. One of my favorite journalists, Alan Paul, who wrote the Allman Brothers biography, One Way Out, is going to be interviewing the great Chris Robinson, one of my favorite singers. And they're going to talk about, Chris's new record, the Chris Robinson Brotherhood's new record, Barefoot in the Head. And enjoy. Thank you. How's your shrimp cocktail? It's fucking expensive. Just kidding.
You know, I enjoyed that. I ought to walk into a room with you more often.
I wrote that. It's a ringtone. You can get it. But it has explicit language, so I'm sorry.
Thank you all for coming out. So, Chris, I have an advantage over all these people and anyone else who's watching. I've been listening to your new album for a while and really enjoying it. So
that's the ultimate advantage, since no one on the planet has heard it, or wouldn't care to hear it, I guess.
Well, but one of the things that stands out about it sounds very organic, very flowy. Was that the goal? Is that the goal with all the music you're making with this band?
Yeah, I mean, completely. There's no other motivation in a sense. We're so lucky, to have this space to be making this music and doing this stuff in the future, And, it begins with that, It's a hard thing to be in a band with these iconic songs, and you're a certain type of performer, and this is what they're used to, and this is what they like, and it's nostalgic, and it's this and it's that, and it's an amazing, unique opportunity to have. But I'm deranged enough as well when I'm thinking, but I have these other things to say, and I have these other songs to sing, and I'm a different person in a way. And then that's sort of like a seed, and then like a few years later, you're in this band with these people, and then the music keeps coming like that. That's the point. As a kid, you think, oh, you're in a band, and you write songs, and you make records, and you tour. And then that starts to be like, oh, well, maybe you'll write songs later, and you'll play the songs people like, and then you'll make less records. You're making less stuff, and to me, the whole
adventure starts with writing and making things. That's the only thing that makes me not crazy.
So were these songs written sort of together in a batch, and were they recorded live in order to have that cohesive feel?
Yeah, at the Unicorn, California Brotherhood Arts Lab where we work.
I'm pretty sure that's real,
It's
by the way.
It is real. Oh, yeah. It's real. It's real. Yeah. You can't Google map it, but it's real. It's off the grid. The way it works is, and especially like I've written a lot of songs the last couple of years. So, we have the unique opportunity to go into studios and make records. These are archaic things from the past that no one cares about. Groups of songs by musicians. Hey, look at them. We don't care, like, oh, sorry, they're here. Right. But people care, though, It's just not it's a different scale. But we're lucky enough to have the freedom and to make these hand-batched things, And we work in this studio, and when we get there, I have some pieces for everyone. We work through the year, If I have a little, verse idea, I write all the time, and I'll let Neil hear it, and if he likes it, maybe he writes a little part, and then if I write something, Adam hears it, In this case, we went right into the studio, and I just opened my notebooks and my little ideas, and we started. And we did 11 songs in 14 days like that, let's work on this song. And whoever had the best idea gets it. But it's not even like that. Like, we do have like a cool psychic thing where we can just, everything is, how should I say, it's like a dance in a weird way, Like, I have my parts, and Neil's parts are these pretty parts, and then Adam's parts are these like otherworldly parts, And then, so at the end of it, we're like, whoa, look at that little sandcastle we made,
Right, so what you're talking about is a collaborative process of a band, basically. So how important is it to you to have a band, to be in a band, rather than to have a band who's backing Chris Robinson?
I mean, that's where the whole adventure begins, the boyish thing of like being some kid who writes these songs with a group of people, and you shove off on this boat into the world, And that's the romantic part, but for me, the pragmatic part is I like people, and I need other people. I have a specific skill set as a musician, and I need all these other people who do all these beautiful, expressive things around me to do their thing, and it's not about me. It's about what we're doing,
For years, you were a singer, didn't play an instrument on stage, and you play guitar now, and you play more and more guitar, it seems to me. So I'm wondering how that has affected your songwriting. Does it change the melodies you write? Does it change the way you sing or the way you think of even lyric writing?
Yeah, of course, because, the Black Crowes used to work like riff stuff. Rich writes riffs, and then it's like, okay, and then you have to make a song out of like riffs more than I sit down and have sort of, my songwriting is simple chord structures, and although I write like the little sort of Baroque parts and kind of stuff in the songs, it's not necessary, but because of the sort of rudimentary nature of the chord structure and stuff sometimes, that's where all this other music can sort of take place, And so that another style of rock and roll, like I said, is you're trying to make stuff fit over things, which is cool, and it feels good and stuff. But yeah, this is from a totally different perspective,
Has it changed your thoughts on singing at all? Like, are you a schooled singer when you're singing? Do you think I need to hit a C note here?
I was bad at school, I was not a school person. I don't think about singing too much. I just want to sing, But yeah, of course it changes. This band, the vocals are the ceiling in this band. They're the featured sort of instrument as well as everything else. And so that's where these songs have come from as well. The imagery and the stories and the things we want to say are different that way. The vocal is thing. There's not sort of this other bombastic sort of element.
You mentioned, I think, in your first answer that, the hard thing about when you write these iconic songs, the good thing is you wrote iconic songs, and the bad thing is maybe you don't feel like singing them anymore. So,
No, I want to sing them. I mean,
Okay.
it's just, I'm just happy doing this right now. I want to sing those songs. I don't have any animosity towards these songs. They're my like weird little kids. They're just, they're at college and they'll be back later. It's fine. You never call. You never call. No, that's not something that's going away forever. It's just really, like I said, the unique thing is to find yourself in this place with this group of people and making this music, and our scene is important to us, I say it, and I hope it doesn't sound cynical, but the Black Crowes happened to us, we're a band, a dude sees you guys are cool, can you write some better songs, give them a record deal, put it in the slot, ka-ching, ding, 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 oh my God, look what happened, oh my God, I hope it never stops, it's like weird, it's like you're on the racetrack, you're like, and this is something that we've made, you know what I mean? So for me, like I said, it's not a bad thing, it's just where I am, and it's about making stuff, and like we've made this, and we feel it's important to us, so I'll sing those songs later,
This band started when the Black Crowes were on hiatus, and now it seems
my
that,
hiatus.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
In Petaluma, a guy makes leather hyenas apparatus. It's like a strap, and it goes around, and it helps with your hiatus. I mean, they're expensive and they're custom made, but
I think I'm going to let that question go.
sorry.
Moving on. You describe the Brotherhood as a psychedelic rock band. So what does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, to me, at its like essence, the nature of it's about the real beginning of it, and what was interesting to me too about it would be exactly the do-it-yourself sort of thing of, like I said, I had this idea, instead of like write songs, try to get a record deal, record it, put a band together, go tour. Like that's not going to work, So to me, part of where we are in this weird band and our psychic thing is what's psychedelic about it. That we built, like I said, on paper it is what it is, but Neil's been in a lot of cool bands and done a lot of cool stuff, and Adam's super talented, and when George and Muddy started, you know what I mean? Like everyone put in that time, and everyone like said, let's get in that van and load our own shit and go to these little places and see if we can pick this thing up and do it. And that's like, that's what to me that's psychedelic, When we were in Felton, California, and like the first time the whole place was like swaying back and forth, and I felt like I was on a ship, that's what we're talking about, There's,
You mentioned that when the Brotherhood started, you put in your contracts that if they mentioned the Black Crowes in an ad or anything, you wouldn't play. So
that's true.
Yeah, why? Why was that so important to you?
Because I don't think it would be fair for people to expect a presentation that had anything to do with the Black Crowes, aside from the fact that I started that band and like was in that band, But that's what I mean. In my own way, I would also not. I didn't want to fool anyone or be on any money trips about anything, and I thought it would be fair. You're not going to see what you think you might see. I'm going to make the point that this is something different, and it didn't take very long, but there's still a few places in the early days that the guys, we see that before we get there. You could cancel the show because you have to be You know what I mean? Like,
So-
why would, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? You
So
know what I'm
in your
saying? To
mind
me,
it-
it would be, I know it's made, why would I don't need to promote myself as something that's not there in that presentation. You know what I mean? And then in the other weird ways, why would I put a solo band out and go play the songs in this band I was in for all these years while we had all these great moments?
Right.
I mean, that was that, you know, and it was rad when it was rad, and it was brutal when it was brutal, and it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, you know, here's this other thing with this energy and stuff.
Well, the reason you might do it is because you wrote those songs or co-wrote those songs, and they're great songs, and they're part of your legacy. So, you know, you have as much right to sing them if you feel like it, then.
Yeah, but now there's this, you know, this other tapestry we weave, you know. So with this story goes on, you know, like where I started kind of big negative when everyone said don't do it, and it's like, wow, here we are talking about the CRB is, you know, like I said, man, all these Tony, and then the last year too, you know, like having Jeff, this new record is representative of, like, I think part of the organic thing we started talking about is, you know, we played hours and hours together, you know, you know, that's when you get this thing and this communication, and, you know, I've been on a lot of sessions and produced stuff, and, you know, I like things to be really mellow and good in the studio, and so everyone can focus and stuff, but in our band, it's like, it is weird. It's like we're in some weird alien cult, and we all just, everyone knows what to do. You know, Adam wakes up from like a pod, and like, he comes down the stairs, and we're like, oh, he sleeps in a pod. Oh, he should definitely take a washcloth and get the pod off a little bit. Sorry.
And is that, I mean, you guys have been so prolific. This is your third collection of original songs. You've done, 3 live albums, right? I mean, is that just all part and parcel of feeling
You know, I
the
think,
groove?
yeah, definitely. And, you know, I write songs. That's what I want to do. And that's what I feel. I feel part of something that's not horrible when I write songs, you know? And the world is offering a lot of anxiety and chaos and psychic cruelty and stuff. So, you know, if my songs are my vibration, and I want to have this positive vibration with the music we make and what I want to say, it not in any dogma way or any other way, except that's just simply, that's what it is. Something that could be beautiful. And I want to put my mind to those kind of beautiful things. And when I put my mind to those beautiful things and see how I feel and all the stuff that, you know, how it translates, you want to write songs, you know? At least I do. That's what I do. All right.
At what point did the Grateful Dead start becoming an important influence or impact on you, musically or otherwise?
You know, it's so funny because I had this security guard. I don't remember his name because I'm a horrible person.
Was that the big?
And, you know, but I'm sure he got fired for some reason or whatever. But he was Don. His name was Don. From Ohio.
I think he was the big guy who grabbed me when
No, this is before that. This is before that. But no, this wasn't about that. But I always remember because, you know, he was around a lot, and I've always been obsessively listening to music, and I have to have music on, and it's, you know, I'm into it, you know, lots of different kinds of music, annoyingly so to everyone around. And one day, like, he came up to me, like, after the show, and he's like, hey, man, you don't listen to the Grateful Dead? And I was like, no, I don't. Because to me, in the 80s, you know, what I knew of the Grateful Dead was, like, Bob wearing shorts singing Little Red Rooster, you know. And in my mind at that time, I was like, I'm not buying this, you know, like, I'm from Atlanta, and my first concert was Kool and the Gang, you know, so I'm not buying this guy in the shorts, you know. But Bob's shorts aside, this guy, you know, hit me to it, and he said, you know, you listen to all this music and all this weird 60s stuff, and he goes, why don't you listen to it? And then one day he just goes, here. And he gave me Working Man's Dead, and I took it, and I'm cool that way, you know, and I was like, put it on, and then I had realized I never really had listened to it. You know what I mean? Like anything else, I thought whatever. And man, it was like, I was hooked, But I liked it because it had all the things that I liked about that era or music in general, like all the cool stuff I liked about some band, you know what I mean? And wow, but there it was in this weird, like, unique way, and like so different and like coolly inviting. And I was like, wow, yeah, and super druggy and good, and I was like, yeah, this is good, and I'm instantly like some sort of moth eating like through all the pages, And that was kind of it, yeah, And then I was sort of lucky enough to be spoiled, rotten little rock and roll kid that when I went to my first Dead shows in Atlanta in '91, and my pot dealer at the time was like, he managed like this band in Atlanta, the Grateful Dead tribute band, called the Dreadful Greats. And so like I'm in the Black Crows and stuff, He has no idea, Like I just can pay for the weed, So the Dead come and I'm like, well, we gotta go, So we call and like get tickets and like we roll down and I have no idea. I don't know what's happening yet. This is, you know what I mean? They walk in the back door. Someone like gives us laminates, like hands me like 2 joints, and then like walk. We're like already like what, They said walk on stage, man, And like next thing I know, I'm like standing there and like Jerry's like right there, and I'm like, cool, all right, I'm feeling it, but I look over at my friend who's been to like 500 Dead shows, and he's going like this. And then I'm standing there, and then he looks at me like this. Because he didn't know who the Black Crows were or anything, because he's a Deadhead, and he only fucking listened to the Grateful Dead.
Right.
So he didn't fucking know about anything else but the Grateful Dead. And the best weed at the time you could fucking get in Atlanta. But whatever. I mean, that's not the point. This is a long time ago.
So how hooked up were you with him after that?
Yeah, we're still friends. Of course.
Well, I'm sure you don't remember this, but the night that Jerry died,
oh, I remember.
I was out at the Jones Beach at the Allman Brothers, and you were there, and we were talking. We were hanging out backstage. And you told the Black Crows had played there the night before.
Yeah.
And you told me about something you saw. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, totally.
Can you tell that story? I don't want to steal your punchline. So.
No. Yeah, backstage at Jones Beach where they have that like there's a dock past the catering back there, and I don't know. I went back there for some bizarre reason, and like the park ranger like had his foot like on this like leatherback turtle. It was dead, and he was like, "That turtle's like 200 years old or whatever." And I was like, "Are you?" I mean, I was like, "What are the chances though? Like this, Leviathan of the deep finally like comes to," and I was like, "Whoa!" Like unimaginable. And then Jerry dies, and that's all I could think about the next day. Like they're a 200-year-old animal.
I know. I remember we were talking about that, and. The timing was...
You know what else happened at the Allman Brothers show? Someone spit in my face at that show.
Wasn't me.
Like,
at that show?
They hate hard to handle.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. Just fucking spit in my face. I'm better now. It's all right. I deserved it, I imagine. I didn't. I mean, for something else at some other time, maybe, but I didn't do anything. I was just walking to the thing. Yeah. Why me? I just hope they don't ask me to jam on Southbound again.
I mean, it seemed from the outside that your involvement with and interest in the Dead music really picked up when you started playing with Phil and friends occasionally. And I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, of course.
Was
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is that what really brought you in?
Oh no, I mean I was in. It was just I mean we even got the Black Crowes opened for the Dead in '95 and stuff. So, but yeah, but what an amazing opportunity. You know what I mean? And to this day, I mean. I'm living in. We packed up and moved. Our lives to be in Northern California. Phil's a big impetus in that too. Like, I'm so lucky to have access to him and the music and the things I've learned from Phil and his work ethic and. Yeah, it's an amazing, unique opportunity, and someone that I admire and love dearly, dearly.
Right. Did you go to any of the Fare Thee Well shows?
I fairly did not.
Yeah. I guess we'll let that go there.
No. I thought
I mean,
they were amazing. I watched them on
Yeah.
the video and stuff.
And Neil did incredible music on
Totally.
on the
And
break.
those gigs I thought were in the
Yeah.
best, coolest, like celebratory. Trey was amazing, amazing. The music was great, I thought.
Right.
And everyone that I went, the millions of texts and emails of wow, yes, it's amazing. Everyone's having such a
Right.
good time. Oh my God, will it ever fucking stop? 3 fucking days of text of these people
Right.
this wasted. I'm 50 years old.
But and I was just in the crowd for those. So part of the appeal of that is the music just in a way just has to be good enough for everyone in the crowd to have that feeling, to have the family reunion, to have the feeling, and they're so happy. It makes so many people happy.
You know what? I mean, I'm such a I say such bad shit about stuff, but whatever you like, if music is your thing, isn't that's the whole point,
Right.
I mean, it's the, like I said, sometimes it's the only thing, you know what I mean? It's the only thing that, at least for me, the underlying anxiety film, the half-truths of the real world is to me, music has never lied to me, So I would hope my music could be coming from the same sort of place, no matter what it is, it could be any sort of kind of music, manifest itself in any way or whatever.
Right. So is that why if you're not feeling like you can do that honestly, you just don't want to play with the Black Crowes? Regardless of...
Yeah.
You know these guys?
No, but we we did do the Black Crowes bit.
Well, what I was thinking, the connection I was thinking was that, like at the Fare Thee Well shows, it is doing whatever it's doing for the musicians, but it's almost like a gift for the audience.
Of course,
And
I mean
so
that's what the vibes were. Like I said, the Grateful Dead are unique in their. When it existed as this thing roaming the land, when Jerry was at the weird helm, what a cool thing, what a unique thing that happened, of course, people are forever going to be in tune with that experience, so that's a powerful thing.
Right. You guys do a lot of cool covers in the CRB. Lots of Dylan, which cool, some Dead, and Three Dog Night, which was always a cool. So
It's really Hoyt Axton song.
Okay.
Yeah. It's funny.
So-
I never
but
heard.
your version-
You know what? But I never heard Three
Have you
Dog
ever been
Night
to
do
Spain?
it. I never heard them do
Really?
it. Yeah, I heard Hoyt Axton do it, and really Elvis did it too.
Oh, right.
And I like Elvis's version,
So I was gonna say,
but he does it in E. We changed the key.
So I was just saying, what motivates the ideas for what you're going to do? Is it just play them at sound check and see?
Well,
That's
the
it.
cover tunes have to, they have to. I don't know. They have to have a certain, we don't really rock too much. We swing a lot, so they have to, like, sometimes, you know, like the R&B covers have to have a certain, they have to have, I don't know, some little change or some little thing that makes them interesting too. I mean, basically this is whatever I want to sing and whatever songs, you know, I think are cool, you know. I mean, the Dylan songs are cool because we love Bob Dylan, and I mean, he's still the, you know, he's Bob Dylan. He's the top of he's the apex of all the songwriters still to me, you know. So, you know, to be able to play those tunes and stuff, you know, or like, and to be able to find our own sort of way and take different things here and there. And,
Do they, I was going to say, I guess you just said that, to find your own way. Is it important for you to put your own stamp on them rather than to try to play them?
it's almost impossible, you know, because like we have a certain sound and we have a certain like way that it lays in there. So it's, I mean, we've played a lot of songs too that we'll play one or two times and go, don't play it again, you know, that's, you know, you know, so it didn't feel good, so we didn't do it again. It's like a bad dentist trip, you know. But except all dentist trips are bad. What am I?
You're speaking about the impact of the Dead, but you've been working on the live albums with Betty Cantor.
That's true.
Yeah, so, I mean, how did you develop a relationship with her, and why do you like working with her so much?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, you know, Betty's thing is, you know, to record music. That's what she hears. That's what she's into. And we met Betty in early days of the CRB, like Wavy Gravy's 70th birthday, and we were on the gig, and Betty was the stage manager, and like we had only played maybe, I don't know, 5 gigs, and like, you know, there's 10,000 people, you know, hey, this is our 5th gig, get down, you know. But everyone, it's, you know, it's the Bay Area, everyone's in a good mood and stuff, so. But Betty comes up afterwards, and she's like, you know, I'm Betty, and you know, I really like your band. I like what's going on. I really like the lyrics. And she was in, and I was like, cool. And then we started talking. She goes, you know, I'm recording your band. You know, like, so you can't do anything about it. Like, she was serious. Like, I'm just recording it, so whatever. And I go, all right. You know,
Which
whatever
is
you want.
It's a great honor.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then, so she came and she recorded, and, you know, Betty's really funny and, you know, dynamic, and we love her so much. And then, you know, we just started, then she started recording us more. And then she was like, I want to record these, and I'm going to travel here and record these. And then Betty starts to have a really good time, you know, and Betty's really involved. And then we're in the cool, you know, unique place to have her come out. And, you know, Betty comes on the bus with us, and like, you know, she's like our, you know, hippie grandma on the bus, you know, and she, you know, she gets the coffee and stuff. It's amazing, you know. But the best part is when we play, when Betty's with us, and you look over and she's set up on the stage, you know, and she's just like, then you know you're really doing a good one, you know, yeah.
You know, when you
and by the way, sorry, we take care of Betty too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Betty, it's not, again, it's not about like this other thing, but you know, you have to realize Betty's name's on stuff, and Betty never got paid for anything,
right.
You know, and people use her name and stuff, and that's not cool. But in our case, it was a cool way to take care of Betty too.
Yeah.
Like she does the work, and she's an amazing artist, and she should get her fair
But
due.
that also raises the question, you know, her work with you also sounds fantastic. So why isn't everyone using her? Why aren't a lot of people using her?
Because she's just like us. She can't be bought. She's not going to record something that she's not feeling. You know what I mean? And you know, she records what she wants when she wants, and that's the kind of lady she is, man.
Right.
She's a real renegade, you know. Right. But that's the kind of spirit. Like I said, that's what our band is too. It's not like anything elitist or anything. It's just Betty's like, if I'm not feeling it. You know, she says, like, I didn't record anyone since Jerry died till our band came along.
Wow.
You know, so
that's a big deal.
That's also why I said you do whatever you want to do, of course, you know, but it is a big deal, and and like, so now we have this cool opportunity as well to, you know, have this vinyl series and also have a lot of recordings, but, you know, for us making the records and, you know, they're completely Betty's thing, you know, like she records them. I told her day one, I was like, listen, when you do this, I'm not, you are doing everything. Like, we're not going to tell you what to do. You know, she's like, of course. But I said, tell me, don't, you know, so they're her records, you know, and she picks what she likes. And to me, they're really special like that, too. You know, they're Betty's blends, man, you
Yeah.
know, so.
That's cool. I don't know if people fully understand that her level of control with that. So that's cool.
Well, you know, one thing, I mean, she, you know, being a woman in any business is hard, and being a kid, a teenage girl, like, and being interested in what she was interested in was really unique. You know, she's one of the first women to like do that. You know, and she's recorded so many amazing records and so many sessions that are just like masterpieces that never would get credit for any of it just because she's the chick that was at the thing, man. You know,
Yeah.
like, that's hardly cosmic, you know.
Way back in the early days of the Black Crowes, when you guys started playing Dreams, I know the guys in the Allman Brothers were really happy about that. That you were putting, you know, you guys were at a pretty high level right then, and you were putting that out there.
You just saying that to make me feel bad about
Yeah.
that southbound bit.
Yeah. No,
I'm just
no.
kidding. Like,
I
I
think
love
that's
the,
even
you know,
in-
I love the Allman Brothers, but every time they'd be like, "What do you want to jam on?" They'd always go, "How about Southbound?" I'd be like, there's so many good songs I could sing, you know. Southbound. I was like, "Oh, how about
Yeah.
something else?" Anyway.
No, I was just wondering, I mean, you're from Atlanta, but when the Crows first came out, you didn't really hear like us, you know, that kind of influence. And then
No.
was it always there, or did that develop more for you and for everyone later?
Well, I mean, like, you know, the first Black Crowes record is our kids. The second Black Crowes records, we'd been on the road, so your groove changes, you know, your head changes, you know. And like, so, yeah, I think it's more of like a groove thing, you know, than any other sort of comparison, you know. But I mean, the dual guitars and stuff, inevitably being people born in that Piedmont region, I guess that would start to come in there. But it would be like, yeah, a part of the color, I think.
So, what do you feel is the next steps for the Brotherhood? I mean, you're just going to keep. Do you see yourself being able to maintain this level of creativity where you can put out a new?
I don't think it's about that. That's just what it is, you know. Like, oh, we have this music, you know. We have we're in a super cool situation. Like I was saying, it's an amazing, unique situation to be in a band with popularity. But now we're in this situation where we're just sort of, we can be in the moment together all the time, because what are the expectations? We didn't write Satisfaction, you know what I mean? You're not hearing it, you know, we didn't write it. There's no hits. You never heard us on the radio. So there's no expectations other than the stories we can tell night to night, set to set, and how that feels, you know. So there are infinite possibilities with what we could do with our music, I think, you know, in those terms. And you know, to be honest, like I said, with Tony and Jeff now, and we're, you know, I feel like we've only put the legs on the table, and, you know, now we're playing some music, and, you know, maybe we can, you know, get a candelabra, have some people over. It would be nice, you know, nice.
Does it when you change a single member of the band, does it change everything? Does it make you want to play, drop songs, add songs?
Not in this situation, no. No, in our situation, it's just like, it's like anything else, you know. The music makes the decisions like that, you know. Not, I mean, in a weird way. And we just have to, you know, that's just the way it is.
You're just the vessel?
I mean, yes, it's that simple
Right.
sometimes. I mean, you know, if, you know, it's like, wow, you know, and everyone, you know, in Muddy's case, he didn't want to come be on the tour and live like this and stuff. So that's cool. But it also gives you the opportunity to sort of like, ooh, you know. I mean, like I said, everyone put in a lot of hard work, but now we have like the right sort of, you know what I mean? Now with Jeff and Tony, like I said, then your imagination even can be more open, because it gives more possibilities, more musical things, you know. So it should always be progressing. And
Right. Adam obviously came, you know, you were working with him in the Black Crowes. How did you hook up with Neil first? So you said you had...
Neil and I really, Ne- Neil and I were both on we were both on in a 1960s surf buddy movie together. The Beachwood Sparks, the great Beachwood Sparks, Neil and I's main connection. And now this band, of course, has eclipsed all of that. And now we're Chris and Neil.
I think we're going to take some questions from the crowd.
Yes.
I don't know how we're doing that. So we have a microphone out there? Okay.
I'm here on your friendly microphone.
Just
yeah.
scream them at me with hatred and
Let's go over to this
contempt.
guy. Hello? Oh.
Hi, Mark from Boston.
Careful.
Well, I was going to ask you what your thoughts on cell phones were, but I think we know that.
Slow down. I can't understand your accent. Turn him up. I wasn't. We talked about it for an hour and a half. I was in the fucking Black Crowes. My ears hurt.
All right.
What?
I was wondering, what does the album title mean, Barefoot in the Head?
Barefoot in the Head is, I nicked it really from this rather unique but obscure sci-fi novel from a British writer named Brian Aldrich about a European post-World War III Europe, but the war was fought with hallucinogenic gases. The record is not about that, but it's a great book if you can find it, you know. But I like the imagery, you know, and I like the idea of, like we were kind of speaking before, like being able to write songs and be an artist and travel and like play our music. That's a unique thing, and to have a unique perspective on things. And I think Barefoot in the Head is sort of like, that's available for each and every person, no matter what's going on in terms of, you know, where your vibes are, like, you know. And so to me, that's what it is, you know. There are multi-layers to everything, you know.
Over here? Way over here. Hi, Chris, you're such a great storyteller, you know, in music and out of music. I heard a great story from Pete Angelis from when you guys were shooting.
I don't understand your accent.
I heard a great
I know,
story.
what are you saying? What is that?
I heard a great story from Pete Angelis about when you were shooting the Jealous Again video.
Yeah.
And a certain lead singer showed up and tried to tell you how to do it.
Yeah. No. I don't have time for that. No.
Okay, well.
I can't go to that's almost the 80s. I cannot deal with that right now.
Okay, well, I guess my other question is, what's your favorite song on the new record?
She Shares My Blanket. Yeah, that's my favorite one.
That is a good title.
Hey, Chris. Over here. Hey.
Freak me out. I mean, he's wearing black. I mean, everyone's in New York. They're always like wearing dark colors. I mean, he's running around. I didn't see, and then it scared me a little bit.
Big Steve Marriott fan from back, and I miss him a lot. I'm wondering if you ever considered doing some songs from him as well.
Wow, you know, Steve Marriott fan, Neil. Yeah, I mean, I love Steve Marriott, you know. I don't know. His music is so, like, kind of hard sometimes, you know. But his singing still is, like, the most, they're super underrated. They're not just like a English boogie band, you know. They had a lot of stuff to offer, you know. But I don't think I could do it, to be quite honest with you. It would be different, but yeah, he's one of my favorites. So, yeah, big up Steve Marriott.
I'm going to try to move a little slower.
I'm gonna talk a little slower too. No, Chris, I want to ask a question. Like, I play guitar and stuff, and I was wondering, like music, like the way songs come to you, like it's almost like a spiritual thing kind of thing. It's like waves. Like sometimes they come at once or not at all. Or
No, well, you know, it's Yeah, it's on. It's I think the one thing that's on my permanent record is prone to daydreaming. You know, and it's caused a lot of problems in my life. But I mean, truly, for lack of a better word, that's where they come from. When I have the sort of moments, or you pick up a guitar, I'm constantly writing in notebooks, and I'm constantly jotting down things that I think are whatever, you know. So those things add up as time goes by. And then when I have little things, yeah, they just fall together, you know. I do think this, you know, if you stop writing songs, if you stop, you know, the muse is real to musicians, you know, that's what makes us crazy. You know, that's why people, well, they're not celebrated with statues of musicians, you know, they're always like military people, you know what I mean? So, it's an odd predicament, but like anything else, if you, the muse is powerful that way. But I don't think the muse is also super jealous. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a partner, I have like responsibilities, so I'm not insane and stuff. But I also am a daydreamer who part of my life that makes me feel good is my work, you know. So, you know, when I have the moments to make it happen, I focus and I feel, you know what I mean? I feel like anyone else, you know, and my feelings just come out in these songs, you know. So hopefully too, like I'm in this band with these people that make melodic, cool things that, and a lot of the themes, you know, in the Black Crowes, we probably couldn't sing as many positive songs and stuff, you know. It wasn't like that, you know. So it's nice to be in a band that is more, that's lighter as well, you know, just overall in the vibes, you know. So the music is like, could get a different groove and a different sort of sway and a different bounce to it.
Can I follow up one thing on that? When you're writing in your notebooks all the time,
Thank you, Chris.
Are you singing melodies? Or do you hear melodies in your head? Or when you transfer them from the notebook to the songs, do the lyrics change?
The lyrics kind of dictate where the singing goes sometimes, or sometimes not. The singing makes the lyrics go. I don't know. You never know. It's all, you know what I mean? I write a lot of songs, so. And you know, I want to write songs that I haven't heard myself singing. You know, so I want them to be, you know, they have to be something. They're like sculptures in a weird way. There's a piece of clay or whatever, and then you mess around with it until it's something that you like, you know.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you. I mean, great.
How is it going? All right?
Yes, everything is
A little long.
wonderful
It's getting a
for
little
me.
long in the tooth now. I mean, a little bit. It's kind of going on a little
No,
bit.
I like this. I
Okay,
could sit
cool.
here all night. So obviously we know you're an awesome writer. Do you read a lot? And if so, like, what are your favorite books?
Yeah, I'm a compulsive reader. You know, I read, I don't know. I read a lot of stuff. I read sort of like, lately I read Jean Giono, this like famous French writer of like, you know, writes of like simple peasant life in Provence, but with these
You can relate to
profound
that?
stories. They're
like your
unbelievably boring. You would hate them, I imagine. But I read a lot of weird sci-fi stuff, and I read a lot of.
Like who?
Lately too, I've been into like all the. Like the Oregon Trails, all the early pioneer journals and stuff. I'm into that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And you're also, as you were discussing earlier, a big cinema buff. And I imagine that's had a big impact on your vision of art and
I
writing.
was lucky to be a kid in the 80s whose parents were miserable, so I had all this free time, you know. And back then you had the video store, and then you could go get whatever you wanted, and no one ever monitored my like movie watching. So it's like, oh, the tin drum. You're like, Eraserhead, far out. You know, like, they had no idea what I was watching, like Fellini films and Pasolini and stuff, whatever.
Got more?
We'll do one more. And then Chris is going to play some tunes.
And Neil, hey! Come on, Neil! Come on!
Hey, Chris.
Hello.
What's happening, man?
What's happening?
Hey, so I was going to ask you about your creative process, but you touched on that a little bit there. So
I mean, I think like probably obsessively so.
yeah, so yeah, so I wanted to ask you about this then. So you mentioned Dylan kind of being at the apex.
We're gonna argue about Bob?
Nope, not going to argue. But the only time I ever really heard you talk about the Beatles was briefly at the Cabin Fever sessions. And I was wondering where the Beatles kind of fall in terms of, like I said, Dylan being the pinnacle. To me, the Lennon and McCartney songs are my favorite songs of all time, or the best songwriting. And I was wondering how they.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they're the Beatles. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're like, oh my God, what would life be without hamburgers or whatever? I mean, they're the Beatles, and what they make is still like, yeah, it's like their body of work is. Yeah, I mean, it's like still, people are still, like I said, the energy of that, their focus and the stuff they did when they had their moments of creative, like, genius. That's the stuff that still has this, thing that people are still interested in,
I suppose it's obvious. I just hadn't really heard you talk about them a whole lot,
I mean, I don't know. I think, my dad, being a folk singer, like my probably earliest like music stuff that means something to me are him like singing folk songs and playing a certain guitar style on his Martin guitar, and like listening to like folk records, whether they were Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs or the Osborne Brothers or it could be, Walter Forbes or like all these weird folk records and stuff. So that maybe is, you know what I mean? I love the Beatles, but I think, at the end of the day, like we were talking about the song structure and stuff, like that's where it's folk stuff, I was obsessed with the Bird. To me, all my friends in bands were into the the Beatles as a teenager. I was like, well, what about the Birds, So, like, I was always, it seemed like everyone was into the Beatles. So I maybe just sort of didn't, like, get as much. But, I mean, I love John Lennon. I mean, I love them all, really.
I hear One After 909 or Dig a Pony is a good song for the brothers and you.
All right, listen, I picked the cover tune. All right? I mean, I get the Beatles saying, but now you're telling me what to do.
He's seizing
really,
his moment,
he
man.
missed the part where I said I picked the cover tunes? I mean, Neil, did you see that? We love him. He's at the show all the time. Oh, can you believe it?
I think Neil might have set him up.
Let's sing some, man.
Yeah. All right, we're going to bring Neil out here.
Right
Thank you
on.
very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your patience. And somebody's going to set up the... Where'd he go? You scared him. Is he gone?
Everyone knows Neil's from Jersey. In case you didn't know.
If you're from New Jersey, you know not to ask that question. We can't start until the guy who claps all the time comes back.
No, let's finish. Let's play them quick, and we'll play before he gets back. These are the new songs, and they're going to go by a lot faster than the record.
Then we'll start our Beatles set. Wait a minute. Hang on.
We don't have any fun ever, man.
Don't listen to anything he says. I wrote all those songs.
It'd be great. You came here, you're like, all that shit you said was bullshit.
I'm over here listening to this shit.
Now I'm going to perish.
Wait, not yet. We have. Let's get through these songs. No, drink your water.
No, I feel under pressure now. It's been a casual evening up to then. I don't know why. That's the best way I could describe it. How's it described in the fucking New York Review? As a casual event.
Casual attire.
There's a lot of bullshit involved.
I see. There you are. All right. We couldn't start without you.
We didn't finish the set, man. Oh, it's going down. It's going.
What are we doing?
Make sure.
Old ones.
Is that low enough? To a broken man, you gave assistance, only to take while the patient was in pain. Love is cruel ambition. It's like a three-legged dog left out shivering in the rain. If you had a heart to break, I might find a tear to cry. Too easy to call it a mistake, too hard to know it was a lie. In my moment of need, the hourglass ran empty, and I found time as hard as stone. You were somewhere else with someone different. Same cold eyes in brand new clothes. If you had a heart to break, I might find a tear to cry. Too easy to call it a mistake, too hard to know it was a lie.
strength and all that charity brings. Pretty thing, petty little thing. You have held the will and you've held ransom in front of the idol. You have defamed. Well, the last time I saw you, you called me handsome. Now I know, oh, you just couldn't remember my name. If you had a heart to break, I might find a tear to cry. Too easy to call it a mistake, too hard to know the world's a lie. If you had a heart to break, oh, I might find a tear to cry. Too easy to call it a mistake, too hard to know it was a lie. Yeah.
When we were recording that song in the studio, that last little bit there, we called it the Beatles part. So we did.
Like I said, we don't listen to the Beatles, man.
Never.
What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, that was the Birds part. What are we doing?
Let's check it out. A big selection, Jack.
That is what? That picture that's on that screen there?
Oh, yeah.
Who are those
If
people?
there's an album cover, it has to be real.
If it's digital, it has to be real.
Really?
No. But that one?
Yeah.
But that one? It's that one.
Oh, no, this one.
The one on the left. Okay.
Yeah.
It's our own language.
Gifts of the valley, gifts of the sea. Get on, brother, you can ride for free. Night sky fever has come on strong, and there's a whole lot of dark before we're gonna see the dawn.
days, 7 nights in the wild, wild wood, where the sun don't shine and the water's no good. 7 days, 7 nights of unsettling dreams, of a fire fueled by thorns and unclean things. Keep your cool and show a little cunning, and out of this fire you will walk. Sweet your sour with a little honey. Sometimes life's not the top. Sometimes life is not the top. All you strangers unknown to me, you don't want trouble, then let trouble be. If you don't know heartache, then you don't know love, and you won't know the sound of my cool love. Keep your cool and show a little cunning. Out of this fire you will walk. Sweet your sour with a little honey. Sometimes life is not the top. Sometimes life is not the top. Sometimes life is not the top. Trust me, I know. I talk too much. I shouldn't. You know what? But playing the music part is definitely worth it. So thank you guys. You know, it is what it is. Here's one from the new album. There's no kids here tonight, are there? Because this song gets pretty racy. just warning you, like,
You know, gonna make sure that, yeah, okay, yeah. Hey, we're good with him. Yeah. One, two, three. Of pearls of swine, your summer of potions really messed up your mind. A mad dog is howling at the end of your line. If your tempo is dragging, then double your time. At the top of the stairs, both hands on your hips. Cold is the flower that hangs from your lips. My head sailed to the front door while the postman and the neighbor clapped their hands and yelled, Mom. The kitchen was clean, but that bed was a mess. The sheets, they were dry, but the pillow was wet. She tried to blame it on one of her pets. I said, do you have a cat? She said, why, no, not yet. Oh, and wouldn't you bet? Went out from under her dress. Oh, yeah. Just a few more words before I read. This is no riddle, this is no test. See, hate is the worst, and love is the best. So put that old time piece back in your vest. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Neil. It's been a great evening. Really appreciate it. I'll help you out there.
Thank y'all so much. It was fun.
I'd like to thank Chris and Neil and Alan for the great interview. Thanks, guys, for coming. Hope you had a great time. Good night.